Greetings Wargamers, and this is the video that I talked about previously. Stripping miniatures. Now this is a bag of termagants I bought from eBay. Okay. I believe I've shown you some of these before. Okay. There's two of them there. Okay. And what can you say? That is poorly painted. Would you really want to field this? Does that fill you with dread? Watching these come running towards you? I mean, looking at them, I don't have too many issues with the prep of these. They do seem to have gotten rid of, well, some of the mold lines, although I will go over them again. But basically, I've got a bag of these, okay? But we're going to be stripping them down. A lot of you may be in a similar position. You've bought figures like this or miniatures like this from eBay or elsewhere, and they arrive and you think to yourself, it's okay, I'll just paint over them. But you look at them, there's quite thickly applied paint. They've obviously not been watered down or anything. Well, if I paint over that, it's just going to lose even more detail. I mean, I can see by looking at these, some of the detail's been lost already anyway. So, 5 little miniatures there. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to test for you a couple of different things on stripping the miniatures, or what I'm going to use to strip them. Well, I'm going to use 2 things, okay? First is Dettol, okay? I'm going to mix it with water in a 50-50 proportion. So 50% Dettol, 50% water, so half and half. The other liquid I'm going to try is Fairy Power Spray. Now, I've seen on forums and things that there's 2 kinds of Fairy Power Spray. One kind does not work. I think that might be an older one. They changed the formula, and one kind does. Now, other things you're going to need, and I'll come back to that in just a moment. Other things you're going to need: a couple of these plastic containers that you get from the Chinese. Have a Chinese meal. Great excuse to have a Chinese. Keep the boxes after, and the lids if you can. Wash them up. I've already got one here, partially full with liquid. But before I talk about that, the other thing you're going to need is an old toothbrush, and this is quite simply to brush off the miniatures with. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to put the solution into the pot like so. After 24 hours, come out, we're going to see how easy it is. And all you do is you just gently brush off the paint. Hopefully it will just fall off. And my previous attempts with this, what I'm going to show you, have done. Now this is Fairy Power Spray. Whether it's this one, I think from what I can remember, the bottle was the same. I just bought a bottle of this on eBay. And I went to look in the supermarket and realised I can get it a lot cheaper in the supermarket, so hey ho. But I was being lazy, so yeah, I got that. Anyway, I'm going to test this for you on this video. This is the old Fairy Power Spray, which, as you can see, it's got bits in it. Okay, there. It's a very thick, gloopy liquid. This. And these bits that you can see in it here are bits of the old paint from previous miniatures that have been successfully stripped. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to fill them up with the respective liquids, and we're going to take it from there. So, okay, back in just a moment. Okay, so I'm just going to put some water in my watering can, like so. Just to avoid spillage, really. Okay. Okay, so into our first container we're going to put some of this Dettol. Okay, so I'm just going to put some into the container. That's actually about halfway. Now I'm going to take the water I got earlier. Just top it up with that. Okay, right up with that Dettol. Okay, and as you may or may not see, it's got like a kind of a cloudy texture to it now. Don't know if we can get that. No, camera's not good enough to pick that up, but that is the Dettol. So into that I'm going to place one of these termagants. Okay, so one of these babies going straight into the Dettol. And I know which one is the Dettol because it smells like Dettol. Okay. Okay, into our second container we are going to put the fairy power spray. So again, I'm just going to open this up. This is literally the first time I've opened it. I'm going to pour it in. Neat. Alright, well that looks the same consistency as the other stuff I had. So now that it's like that, I'm just going to chuck that one away. Into the fairy power spray I'm going to place another of the awfully painted termagants. It's actually so thick you got to push him under. So he's under there as well. So that's those. Okay, on the same video clip I'm bringing in the old fairy power spray I have used previously. Open the lid. Into that I'm going to place 1, 2, 3, the remaining guys. Alright, so I'm going to pop the lid on the old fairy power spray. Okay, I'm going to put a lid on the new fairy power spray one. Okay, put it into one side. I'm also going to put a lid on the Dettol. That one there. Always keep your lids, guys. So I'm going to leave these for at least 24 hours. Okay. Probably put them in my bathroom, which is a good place to store them, on the sill or somewhere where they won't get knocked over. And then we'll come back and see what we can see. Hi guys, what you see before you is the Dettol. So we're going to look at the Tyranid. That was the Tyranid model that was soaked in the Dettol for the last 24 hours. As you can see, the paint seems to be coming off quite nicely on that one. Yeah, so a little bit of brushing with that. Be careful when you do brush this stuff, it's very messy, so indoors really isn't the best place to do it. I would recommend doing it outdoors, especially if you're scrubbing paint off, because you're going to get little flecks of paint everywhere. So yeah, so there we go. Look at that, it's coming off very nicely. Move that over. A bit of a wash off in water. Yeah, it's just coming off. That would have been, I don't know what sort of paint was on there. It didn't look like the normal acrylic there. So that's coming off quite nicely. So Dettol, thumbs up. Okay, so next on the list is the new fairy power spray. See how that fares. Looking at it, doesn't look like it's faring that well. Not doing anything really. Okay. So the new fairy power spray, thumbs down. And last but not least, the old fairy power spray, which seems like it's just taking the paint off nice and easy. Well, I know this stuff works. So this is obviously So what they say on the forums and stuff is right. It does make a difference. And I know this stuff works. I mean, look at like that. You know, compared to that, there's just no comparison. Old Fairy Power Spray works well. If you've got any, that's what I recommend to use. If you can't get any, I recommend the Dettol, because that works almost as well. And just put a little bit of stronger mix of Dettol in and soak it for longer if you need to. But like I say, the old toothbrush technique of brushing the miniature is very good and effective, but I don't recommend you do it indoors. I recommend you take this outside and do it, which is what I will do. And then another follow-up video, I will show you the results. Okay, until next time, happy wargaming.